Hi, I'm excited to talk to you today about data readiness, as it can sometimes be a barrier to entry in your journey to achieving a true customer 360, leveraging Data Cloud and the Salesforce platform, especially in a highly integrated environment. We've got a great team assembled today to discuss this topic. So without further ado, let's introduce the team. We've got John Caniglio, who's a senior consultant of digital strategy at OSF. We've also got Rahul Jolly, who's a VP of Marketing Cloud at OSF, and we're really happy to have Stefan Clausen here as well, who is a VP of Strategic Investment Accounts and Consumer Goods at Salesforce. So without further ado, I'll hand it off to John.
All right. Thank you, John. So one of the challenges I have experienced throughout my career as a technology professional is providing business teams with the means to properly leverage data they need to run their departments. So when it comes to customer data, there are three key activities I always look at, which I like to call the 3 A's: acquisition, access, and activation. The first bubble here that will come up says, we have data, but it's all over the place. So this is an indication that acquisition is occurring via various channels, but the data is not being properly unified. So the proper acquisition of customer data should include unification in a centralized location and the ability to actually consolidate activities across channels in a unified customer profile. So the ability to access data through reports, dashboards, BI tools is essential. So access for all business users is really critical, and poor visibility to customer data means it'll be difficult to get insights into customer behaviors and trends and analyze performance. So in many cases, business people take matters into their own hands by downloading data into Excel and creating their own data repositories. And sure, you've been aware of that. It's quite the epidemic in the industry, I think. So unfortunately, they often spend more time managing the data than actually analyzing it. So the end game, of course, is to be able to properly engage with customers in order to drive incremental revenue. So, that's the activation piece. Marketers, web merchants need to look like marketing, use tools like marketing automation platforms or personalization engines to actually activate customer data. So the common perception that business users come up with is they're frustrated, right? So they're say our data isn't ready. They're pointing to just data is missing. So as an example, we did a customer data strategy for a client that used this as a basis for hiring us. And what we found was during our analysis, they actually had very good data. They acquired it with good processes in place, including omnichannel data, unified customer profiles. But what they were missing were the access and activation pieces. They basically had reporting with no ability to analyze any customer behaviors and trends. Their marketing tools didn't have or give business users the ability to create segments for effective audience building. In fact, they had to rely on technology team members to provide any useful data. So that's always a big issue. So now let's hear from Rahul about the approach.
Thank you, John. And our customer data, if we look at customer data and data, when we say data is not ready, this is very much in line with what we hear from our clients. Our customers have data that is foundational. Our customers have data that is interaction data. It could be web interactions, could be behavioral data in their warehouse, or in any of their marketing automation platforms or a loyalty platform. So while there are so many systems, how do we make sense of data? We do need to have a data strategy, right? And what's the right process and what's the right approach for your business? That's really what our focus is today. So let's get into that. Let's talk about the steps that we take as OSF in helping our clients with customer data strategy, right? We take a 3-step approach. The very first thing we begin to do is really begin our surveys and our interviews with our business stakeholders, right? We want to focus on use cases. We really want to begin to understand how good is the data? Can we get to the data? Can we activate it? Can we use that data and begin to really rationalize the data as we see it, and understanding from our surveys how we can infer from the data quality and how do we execute upon the data from a strategy perspective. So that's step one. It's basically information gathering. Step two is really the core of everything we do in our data strategy, which is really begin to acquire data, analyze it, and understand how we're going to activate that data. So this is really when we begin to understand, are we using data for segmentation, for personalization, for campaigns, or for helping our sales performance with our back to activating it back to our Salesforce CRM or any other CRM that our customers are using. Identifying those gaps and opportunities for remediation of this data. So this is really where we begin to understand data, how it's going to be activated and analyzed once we begin to acquire that data. So core to what we're doing is step two. Finally, in step three, this is really when we begin to provide that data strategy as a final deliverable, right? We create the roadmap, we create the change management processes, we provide a future state diagram, we look at current state, and then we begin to understand how do we begin to build that North Star vision for you as a client in terms of the foundation for data strategy. So let's talk about the North Star vision. So laying the foundation for customer data strategy guides us toward the North Star vision, right? It provides us a complete view of a customer profile across multiple data points, multiple data sources, provides us and guides us to understanding what kind of customer journeys we can be creating across data points. And typically our customers may have one or many of these data points, right? You might be struggling with preference centers, so you might be having voice or in terms of Service Cloud and Service Cloud voice data you want to analyze and begin to understand that data touch point. Or simply your marketing data or foundational data could be in POS or could be in your CRM. Understanding that first-party data, understanding how it's going to link with other third-party data you have or you want to be able to enhance your first-party data with. So building that North Star vision and then analyzing that with really targeted segments that we can create for those campaigns, right? Eventually, we want to get to that North Star vision, explain that, provide that deliverable to our clients so they can take that as a roadmap and as a final deliverable to act upon as a end result of data strategy. Stefan, I'll pass it to you. I think you had a good example of a customer data strategy, North Star vision.
Yeah, thank you, Rahul. Yeah, the North Star vision is a foundational element to any technology project. And it can't just be a leader paradigm. It has to make every participant in the company a stakeholder. And that's exactly what happened in the instance that you referred to earlier. This particular customer went from forecasting the impact of their Salesforce project in taking their company from $4 billion to $7 billion in annual revenue within 5 years to $10 billion shortly after going live, because their adherence to the North Star and their collective focus on it really generated the kind of success that we dream about delivering to our customers.
Thanks, Stefan.
Thank you, Stefan.
Yeah. So, after defining that critical North Star vision, the journey continues by getting into the details. We'll analyze the current state of affairs first off. We typically start by creating diagrams, and we use those throughout the data strategy project to identify key systems, data flows, that type of thing, to acquire and manage data in order to visualize how the data flows through the technical ecosystem, great useful tools. Next, we do a lot of collaboration with the business and technical team members to review each system's functional capabilities, to get an understanding of how the tools perform, then identify any gaps and pain points along the way. We end up documenting these in a red, amber, green, or RAG analysis that we call it, which that summarizes the functional capabilities. And that tells a story of how well existing systems give business units the ability to acquire, manage, analyze, leverage data, that's critical to the success of the business. So the end game, actually two critical points of the end game. First, to improve the customer experience, right? And then secondly, to generate incremental revenue. You might say one leads to the other, and I think That'd be a safe bet. The fact is that the proper acquisition of customer data from all touch points, all channels, including non-transactional activities like browsing categories of products on your website, that type of thing. Unifying interactions with a single customer profile, very key. This all paves the way for two essential methods of customer data activation: personalization and segmentation. So first off, we'll talk about segmentation. Email blasting to all subscribers for events like Black Friday or flash sales are effective, but performance-driven companies use segmentation throughout the year for granular marketing campaigns. So what does segmentation do? It allows you to divide your customer base into distinct groups based on shared characteristics such as demographics, behavior, preferences. It helps you tailor your marketing efforts and deliver personalized experiences to each segment. So by understanding these unique needs and preferences of different groups of customers, you can optimize marketing strategies to increase customer engagement. To truly enable growth, you need to go beyond traditional segmentation and embrace advanced modeling. So predictive modeling can help identify customers who are most likely to churn, allowing you to proactively engage with them and prevent attrition. So these one-to-many cohort campaigns involve grouping customers based on shared characteristics, behaviors, for tailored marketing messages to cohorts. So, to capture and fuel these campaigns, you really need to capture and unify data from several sources to make these effective.
John, if I may, this part here, I love the left visualization because it shows how you get to the right. And personalization is no longer just for B2C companies. It's B2B companies. We're seeing this across our enterprise, that personalization and how you interact with your customer is the differentiator between success and attrition. Right? So thank you for sharing this. This is a great one.
Yeah, sure. And those one-to-one personalized marketing campaigns, they're really effective. They deliver tailored messages, offers, and recommendations to each individual customer. So you're going from the one to the many to one-to-one. That's where you're getting a lot of effective results. So leveraging these types of personalized email campaigns, website experiences, mobile app push notifications, all lead to increased incremental revenue. As depicted here, there are dependencies and considerations from a customer data management standpoint. So investing in best-in-class technologies that excel at acquiring data from all touch points, all engagement points, investing in tools designed for business people, very, very important for business people to create segments and test their effectiveness without relying on technology teams to provide them data. And they have to empower all business people to design campaigns, customer journeys, personalized messaging without relying on any other resources. And so in today's rapidly evolving business landscape, creating data-driven strategies become more crucial than ever. It's not just about collecting data, it's about harnessing its power to transform your organization, improve experiences for your customers, drive incremental revenue. So as digital strategists, our approach to data readiness includes a few key steps. We talked about the visioning exercise and identify the business goals, right? The North Star vision, analyze current state, including evaluation of current systems, data management capabilities, gaps and pain points, future requirements that you want to do, going forward. Making prioritized recommendations. So, what are you going to invest in? How are you going to spend your money wisely in new technologies and tools? With AI coming along, there's so much out there. It's a big landscape. So we help you, really narrow the landscape to help you find technologies that will fit your business. And then we create a prioritized roadmap, taking into account the existing landscape, dependencies, budgetary constraints, as well as organizational constraints. So the couple examples here, case studies. We work with a regional grocer to leverage their customer data for personalized marketing and connected consumer experience. That was their focus. Their data was all over the place, truly, and they didn't have any proper tools for audience building and even personalization. So we developed a strategy and technology roadmap recommending tools, first to unify data, to create the precise customer segments they needed, and business user marketing focused tools to help them build audiences was critical. So that was another big piece of that. So, we came up with a strategy, and then the final step was to actually execute RFPs to help the client select software platforms and providing and also provide change management along the way during the implementations. And then the next example we have is the digital strategy team assessed a global athletic apparel brand, shifting from a product-oriented mindset to a customer-centric approach to meet their ambitious revenue targets. They really wanted to grow the business quickly. The core focus there was personalization through better use of customer data. So we provided a revamped technical tech stack and a roadmap for new technologies using a crawl, walk, run methodology. And the crawl piece was they had actually some solid systems with advanced functionality. So we were, encouraging them to leverage what they have, certain pieces of what they have. So we advised them how to make the most of what they had. And the recommendations included improved customer journey orchestration using the tools that they had, unified reporting using new tools, and using AI for accessing insights into customer behavior trends. So if your company has challenges in effectively leveraging your customer data, we've talked about the efficacy of customer data strategy. So let us show you really what it takes. So if your company has challenges in effectively leveraging your customer data to drive business processes and execute successful sales and marketing campaigns, we have a data readiness accelerator. We start with a survey that aims to understand your current state of customer data and your ability to leverage it effectively. By gaining insights into your data landscape, we can identify any gaps or limitations you may be experiencing and hindering your data-driven initiatives. So next, we'll evaluate your ability to activate sales and marketing campaigns and analyze your performance. The assessment will help us identify dependencies, blockers that may be impacting your campaign effectiveness. And we can provide recommendations to improve your data activation and campaign execution. So at the end of the accelerator, you'll gain a clear understanding of your current state, receive actionable recommendations for your next steps, which can guide you in overcoming data readiness roadblocks and unlock the full potential of your customer data.
Thanks, John. Yeah, one thing I'd like to add, when we speak of future state, I think it's a great way for our clients to think of future state as not only architecture, but also look at that as use cases, right? So it solves for not only looking at the customer data strategy, data readiness, but it's opening up the conversations on really solving the business problems, really solving those use cases that have not been really come about in terms of getting to those because of data readiness challenges, right? So it's really a twofold approach and allows us to look at it from both angles. Stefan, I know you had a point of view on AI, so let's have you chime in, please.
Yeah, thanks, Raul. I've had the privilege to witness a couple of data readiness accelerators with OSF and with companies that have aged or disparate data that they had a really hard time getting their arms around. This process is really vital to them putting themselves in a position to leverage AI, to leverage data cloud, and really have the best possible outcomes. So again, thank you, because it's led to a lot of success for us and our customers, most importantly.
Thanks, Stefan.
That was incredibly insightful. Thank you, Stefan, John, and Rahul for sharing actionable insights into addressing data readiness needs. If you're ready to address your data readiness to set you up to deliver a connected customer experience across all customer touchpoints, please use the link below. OSF would be happy to help.